for keeping your advocacy engaged? Because obviously you go into it, you've prepped all of this, you know the authorities you're going to bring in, and you prep a script, anyone learns that way. But then you don't want to sound scripted on the day, but there's nothing worse than it being boring and you losing people's attention. So is there anything in terms of the way that you prep that you think has kept the judges engaged in your advocacy style?
Try to make eye contact. Usually in the Vismo there are 3, so we try to divide them accordingly. But also have your script, do not read, engage with the tribunal, take them to the record, speak slowly so they can digest your arguments, and because not all of the arbiters are native English speakers. So you are able to convey, engage with them, taking them to the record. But also try to enjoy it. When you enjoy it, you seem confident and you seem powerful, and they will feel naturally engaged with you. And I think that my personal points that I speak a little bit louder than other people, and I try to have that as my personal style when this. Others I speak a little bit softer, and they will seem pretty reliable, but that's kind of my style and the way I try to portray it. So try to have your presentation be within the frame of any competition that you may be participating in, but also try to have your natural style. Most of the people will like it because that's your own brand, what you bring to the table, which is different from anyone else. But you have to communicate with them and just not say it by heart. Some people are really good at saying speeches by heart, and you even feel related to them and you feel engaged. So try to make pauses, control the rhythm of the mood of your presentation. I don't know if any of you have surfed. I took like 2 lessons. When you really feel in control of the surfboard, when you're doing it, it's quite the same here. You feel in control of the pleading, of your argument. When someone asks you a question, tries to rebuttals you, you already know why they are asking that. And that's really important. When they ask a question, listen and think for a millisecond, why is this person asking me this? Oh, because of this other point that I will address later. But do not say, I see your concern, I understand your concern, do not say that. Just try to answer the question according to your perception of what they are asking you.
Obviously, some of the judges have like really different characteristics and different characters themselves. I just wanted to know, is that important for you to, like, when you're sort of putting forward your argument, to consider that, or to just focus on what you're trying to say? Or do you have to also try to consider the characteristics of certain judges? Somebody might be snappy.
If you can have information, previous information about your arbitrators or the judges, that's really helpful. If you can see some videos on YouTube or any material that you may have access to, that'll be pretty useful. And try to adjust your pleading according to that. Most importantly, I'll say, try to see how they are reacting to different pleadings and questions that they are asking, so you can then answer accordingly. What I did in a round was that the arbitrators kept repeating this phrase. He said something like, without risk, there's no reward. And now it was a good phrase, I'll put it on my pleading. And I said it, and he immediately laughed, and he liked it because that meant that I was listening to him. So yes, at a certain point, you will not have information about the arbitrators. So you have to be a little bit neutral, try to play the safe game. But if you have some insights, have some cases that they worked on, or some scholar that they may like, you may add just a couple of nuggets just to make them feel that you did some research and you did your homework and you came prepared. And that really helped you. Ideally, you could do that, but if you cannot, then you just go to your normal pleading and try to read the room as you go through your arguments. But definitely something that's really, really good to take into account. you were not prepared for?
Well, not really prepared. Okay, so in the practice round, the opposing counsel brought up intention as leading to a fraudulent misrepresentation. And for me, I brought up a new point to answer that because this is something that they never discussed in their hearing, in their pleading. So I brought up a new argument to counter their new argument, but the tribunal didn't like that.
They don't have to follow their memorial at all. They can they can play new arguments during the hearing. But if they just made a whole new argument in the rebuttal, I think you better be ready. You better be ready to answer it. If they hit you with a good point, you'll try to take importance out of it, or try to argue an even better point. But you cannot back away from it at that moment.
Okay.
You have to be a little bit creative as well. Think on your feet. That's the beauty of rebuttal. It's so fast. And it's kind of an art, but it's really good. In practice, you will face that with cross-examinations. When the witness will say something you will not prepare for, you just know, like, oh man, I don't know. That's a really good point. I didn't think about that. You have to keep your ground, try to defend yourself and take control of your case.
So if I have to defend myself by bringing in a new argument, like another point which I didn't discuss, would that be okay in that situation?
Yeah, as long as it's related to the case.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that it is answering their rebuttal. It's not like they are gonna say something that it's new, you're gonna answer with something totally different and more related to it. Yeah. The person that says the rebuttal kind of sets the ground for the sub-rebuttal. You could say something that they say on their presentation, but most arbitrators would like you to answer to the rebuttal just to make it more interesting. And at the end, remember that here it doesn't really matter who's going to win the case anyway, because they don't are qualifying that. They are just grading your advocacy and the level of how persuasive you are, how logical you are. You start to be rational and fine.